So, I have no clue what I'm doing, like at all, and I think a lot of people also feel the same way. For me, I'm an artist who really likes making comics and storyboards, but if I'm honest, it's hard to figure out the right path. Similar to a lot of people of all ages, you try one thing and that doesn't work, then you try another thing and that kind of works. It's kind of a constant back and forth. But let's say it does work, you go down that path and see what it's looking like. Um, and I think that's what it really feels like, a constant bouncing around, trial and error, failure and success. Everyone's path is so different that it can feel overwhelming to know where to start, or who to talk to for help, or how you should even feel about your own life. I definitely am not an expert on life. But I have picked a couple things that I believe can help you out, whoever's listening, and take this info with a grain of salt. These tips may not directly apply to you, and while I have done my own research and am also speaking from some experience, I can be wrong, so please do not take my word as law. It's more like a gentle guide. Also, I'm adding a little character for these videos. It's my little waffle icon. Hope y'all like it. And as usual, I got my art in the background. That's a time lapse. Say hi, little waffle. Anyways, as a black grandpa on a really dope black animated show once said,
Thanks, Granddad. Granddad, what do you do when you can't do nothing, but there's nothing you can do?
You do what you can.
so what can you do? Tip 1. Sleep. It sounds like the most obvious tip, but it's genuinely crazy how much a lack of sleep or too much can affect you. Having an inconsistent sleep schedule can also mess up your circadian rhythm, which, for those who are unaware, is essentially your body's night cycle that it follows when you sleep from night until morning. Sleep can also help improve your memory, your immune system, cognition, as well as many other bodily functions. It's overall just the best thing to do for your own health. From my own experience, when I've been sleep deprived, I've genuinely felt like an actual zombie, versus like when I do sleep, I feel way more like myself. I feel more alive, more lighter. It's a simple, basic tip, but a good one nonetheless. Tip 2. Have time to do nothing. Being bored is okay, and that's one statement that I struggle with a lot personally. The art of being bored is a difficult one, but it's pretty rewarding. On paper, it seems really easy. You just do nothing, and doing nothing is easy as hell until you want to scroll or watch something or fold laundry or cook or have to deal with any day-to-day life stresses. Um, there's so many things in our lives that are trying to grasp our attention that it can be really hard not to resist or have time for ourselves. However, making time to lay down or walk outside or just vibe without any distractions acts as a mental reset when your brain can just rest. Imagine how often in your life you just spend time thinking or constantly doing something, but not actually letting your mind wander, rest with no screens. Even putting some chill music on in the background can help with this, help set a nice, relaxing atmosphere for yourself. In short, doing nothing can be extremely productive, because the energy that you gain from resting, you can use when you're actually doing something. So it's a good cycle to help yourself get into. Tip 3. Open up a HYSA. For those who don't know, an HYSA is a high yield savings account where the money you put into this account grows interest over time. For example, if you put $10 as a starting payment and continue to add $20 a month with an APY, which is, this may be a little complicated. It's called an annual percentage yield, and is basically the percentage of interest that you're going to get every year from the money that you have. So in this example, I'm going to just say that your APY is 3.5%. So with your starting payment as $10 and your monthly investment into this account of $20, your account at the end of the year is going to be $254 with 4%, not 4, $4 of interest earned. So 250 of that account is your own money, but you get $4 from just the interest. And while that may not seem like a lot, over time, this can really grow at a very quick rate. Now, I'm not the best explainer of how compound interest works, but I'm gonna do my best. So basically, the interest you gain in the initial principal investment, which is your very first starting deposit, compounds. So every year you gain money from interest. You also gain or increase how much interest you get based on your account. So the money you gain from interest increases your overall total account total, which then will increase how much you're going to get at the end of the year. And it creates a really cool flow where the money you're depositing and gaining from interest compound on each other, and you're continuously growing your account more and more as your account total grows. It's sort of like if the money builds blocks on that money, and then that money builds more blocks, and then you just have a giant tower of money. It might sound a little confusing, so I attached a video below that will help explain it a bit better detail, but it's a very simple account once you kind of understand it, and once you have like money set up to be deposited into that account. Over time, especially the longer you have that account, the more you'll see returns on your investment. Definitely though, check out if you have a bank, credit union, to see if they offer it. Most do, and it will help maximize your savings. I will also suggest to look into other accounts such as investment accounts, Roth IRAs, which are retirement accounts, as well as 401ks that your employer can match. Like they take, let's say 3% of your paycheck, put it in the 401k to match your 3%, or whatever percentage you're putting into that 401k. Maximize your money. Personally, I have a high yield savings account. I don't have a Roth IRA yet, but I'm looking to open that up. But definitely look into that. Tip 4. Budget for expenses and income. So on topic of money, budgeting is also very important, and it's also something I like at the moment. Budgeting is tracking your expenses and income and creating a roadmap for your money. It tracks how much you're going to spend on things like rent, gas, utilities, entertainment, food, any loans, essentially anything where your money's being taken from your accounts, from you yourself, or not, or as well as how much income you're going to be receiving from sources like your job, side hustles, gifts, investments, any source of income or money. What you want to do is you write out all your expenses and income and see how much you have left over at the end of the month, or if you don't have enough to cover your expenses, you may have to do things like cut out expenses such as subscriptions, or lower how much you're spending on food, like outside food, DoorDash, stuff like that. Or if you have any leftover money, you could then put it back into certain expenses such as paying off loans quicker, adding it to a savings account. You could use it to save for vacation, stuff like that. There's different budgeting strategies that you could use. For instance, I was following one where they wanted you to basically reach a zero amount by the end of the month, which means that your expenses and your income, when you subtract it, it will equal 0. So that means you're using all your money that you're gaining for something. Doesn't mean that you're broke. It just means that, like, if you have leftover money, you're then putting that leftover money into your savings account or your credit card or your car loan, whatever you want to do with that money. Helps you be very responsible with your money and use it more wisely, especially nowadays where we have so many different corporations and companies who are just out here trying to take our money. Got to be very wise with what you spend it on and how you want to use it, how you want to help build yourself for the future. Tip 5.
Read.
Well, you heard the man. Read. Or more specifically, utilize libraries. Libraries have a lot of free resources, from free Wi-Fi and computer and printer access to sometimes free events, passes to local activities, groups, clubs, and a variety of different books and materials, from newspapers to DVDs, stuff like that. I don't have to say why reading is so important, but I think the real value of libraries is its impact on communities and personal lives. For example, I use a library service called Hoopla that is basically a digital library that has an insane catalog of books, movies, comics, audiobooks, newspapers, all types of media. Um, you get a certain amount of borrows per month based on the library system that you're a part of, and you could just take out whatever you want. And it's all free, so you might as well use it. You know what I mean? There's also other services like Libby that act kind of similarly, Overdrive and Canopy, and a lot of these services connect with each other. And library systems are always pretty open to using other libraries. So usually your library is connected to like I guess you could say like a county library, so you're able to access different materials from different libraries, and these digital services are also connected to them, so you're pretty much open to use whatever you want, and it's all for free. So I would urge people to take advantage, especially if you're a comic reader, because on Hoopla I was reading everything. They had damn near everything. It had some small issues, but for the most part it generally was a really great experience. And I wouldn't have read some things otherwise, because it would have just cost too much to buy all those comics or books when you just have them right there for free. You know what I mean? As well as that, libraries could also be great study spaces, especially if you're like in college or you're an adult who needs to work on something. In a world where there's a lack of third places that don't require you to spend money, we really gotta value and support the ones that do exist. So go out and get a library card. It's free. Why not? Tip 6: do preventative maintenance. When I mean preventative, I'm referring to any type of maintenance that can prevent or mitigate any major accidents or failures. So this could be things like your car, getting regular oil changes, cleaning, checkups, maintenance when needed, or even your own body, like going to the dentist or doctor regularly once or twice a year, getting exercise, eating good foods, going outside. It could also apply to your tech. So if you have any tablets, phones, computers, gaming consoles, make sure you're cleaning your stuff, especially when it comes to the gaming consoles. Make sure you're dusting it, because dust can really accumulate on it. If you have any older tech too, I would definitely urge you to take care of that, especially with the rise of more technology that's harder to repair and less open. These, I want to say relics, but these older pieces of technology are more prone to repair, and the services for them kind of dwindle over time since they're not the newest thing right now. But even if you don't have that, if you have any current tech, make sure you just wipe it down, clean it, make sure it's working good, doesn't hurt. I know it sounds pretty basic and everyone usually knows this, but I generally think these things get overlooked and can save you so much time and money, as well as creating a more calmer, balanced lifestyle with a good working car, clean home, good working tech, stuff like that. Doesn't hurt to just clean it. And eat your Wheaties. I don't eat Wheaties, but I'm just saying it because it sounded good to say. Tip 7: document things. Take pictures, journal, sketch, write things down, literally anything that you want to do. The documentation of stuff is really supposed to be for you. Document your thoughts, take pictures of things that interest you, moments in your life, things like that. It can be really fun and help you remember things that you may forget as your day goes on, especially when you have a very chaotic, hectic daily life. And in the future, it's nice to look back on where you were in certain periods of your life, and in the present, it helps reflect on your day-to-day life. You may notice things in your journal that you didn't really notice them in the actual moment that they were happening. But since it's so close to the present, it can help you kind of reflect and go about future actions differently. And if you're a creative person, it definitely helps your ideas going. With you documenting your life, you could then use in your art, and then a lot of art also influences life, so the cycle kind of repeats. So yeah. Tip 8, the final one. Trust your gut no matter what. It rhymed. For myself, there's been many times recently where I've been in situations that on paper should feel great, but for some reason are off. Something in my gut just feels weird and not right. And whenever I ignore that feeling, it usually doesn't go well. No matter if a situation seems okay on the surface, if you don't feel right about it, trust it. Sometimes there's aspects of something under the surface that you wouldn't be able to pick up on initially. For example, maybe you're interacting with someone who's acting a little sketchy or too pushy, or you have a nagging feeling in the back of your head that something's off. It's based on your feeling, but it's still your instinct. And I think you should trust your instincts, and with time and experience, you'll be able to grow your trust in your gut more. More and more as a compass for what's right and wrong for you. Kind of adjusting that compass so it is more and more accurate. It's what I'm trying to do for myself, and for better or worse, it usually works for the most part. There's many more tips or guides in life that you can find for yourself, or that I can even talk about if people want more. But for now, I hope I left you with something you didn't know before or will take with you. I'm still pretty young myself with a lot more to learn, so I don't know everything, and every situation is different, so use this advice wisely with a grain of salt. My word is not law. Again, my word is not law. I hope you all enjoyed the art from my Life of K series that was on in the background though. That I've been doing. I got a bigger project coming next month, as well as some smaller projects I'll post here and there. So stay tuned. If you're on YouTube, I got my Instagram that's linked in the description below, as well as my TikTok. So I post art on all three of these platforms. So if you're on one of them, you'll see it. Also check out the description for the article and video links I attach. And for those who like watching streams, I stream on Twitch once to twice a week where I draw and play video games. Right now, I'm actually going through the Five Nights at Freddy's series, where I'm getting my ass scared off by these freaky ass animatronics, but I'm getting through it. And yeah, that's all for me. Peace.